Welcome back, Gridiron fans. I am the Gridiron Guy, and this is my mock draft madness. In this video, I am going to do some trades. I'm going to do some first round trades. I'm not going to get too crazy about it, but we will do some first round trades. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up. Click the little bell to get future notifications. So, really quick, this is the draft order for the draftnetwork.com. This is not my draft order, so don't leave me comments in the bottom saying, that's not where this team is. That's not. Well, this is the draftnetwork.com's draft order. I'm just using their system to do the draft order, so just go with it. It's week 8, so just go with it. Enjoy the draft. I do. I enjoy doing these videos, so leave me all the comments you want in the comments below. Did you like this pick? Did you hate this pick? Whatever, but the draft order is just how it is. So, with that being said, let's get started. Okay. Jets on the clock. They're probably going to be on the clock for the next 6 months. So, with that being said, we're taking Trevor Lawrence. It's kind of a slam dunk pick at this point. That's most likely what they're doing. Probably a 99.9% chance that's what they're doing. So, the New York Football Giants. We have Joe Judge. And where did Joe Judge come from? Joe Judge came from the Patriots system. So, what is the Patriot way? Well, the Patriot way is, collect draft picks. Move down, collect draft picks, especially when you don't have to pick right where you're at. This Giants offensive line is actually playing pretty decent. They may not need a big-time guy like Penei Sewell, although it would be great and it would put them over the top. But so would some more picks, some more depth at wide receiver, offensive line depth. So, what I'm getting at is it's time for the Giants to make a move and drop down. So, what team would be dying to get up to number 2? Ahead of these Jaguars, ahead of these Falcons, possibly football team, the Patriots. Some of these teams could be looking quarterback. We know Tua Tagovailoa is starting for the Dolphins now. The Dolphins aren't taking one at 4. They have their quarterback of the future, and they have their backup in Fitzpatrick as long as he's there next year. So, here's what I'm doing. Okay, so what I've done is the Vikings move up to the number 2 spot. The Vikings traded away their 10th overall pick, their 3rd round 87th overall pick, 4th round 129th overall pick, and a 6th rounder next year for the Giants' number 2 overall pick and a 7th rounder next year to move all the way up to number 2 to take Trey Lance. Trey Lance, number 2. I feel like the Vikings think Trey Lance is their guy. They'll go after him. They'll jump up to get him. I really think, especially since they're picking at number 10, it's really not a huge leap. And the Vikings have the capital. They have tons of draft picks from the last year's trade with Stephon Diggs. They've made some moves this year. They've traded some players. I think they're gearing up to make a big leap, take a big splash into that first round, they might be going to get their quarterback of the future. So, Jaguars on the clock. Jaguars are going to take Justin Fields. They're happy taking Justin Fields. I think they would have been happy with Trey Lance just as well, but the Vikings needed to jump up there so they could pick which guy they wanted. Because if they had just sat there at number 10, neither of these guys would have been available. The Falcons might have taken him. Football team might have taken him. You never know. The Bears might have jumped up to pick 6 here with the Cowboys and taken one of them. You never know. You never know. So the Vikings move up to number 2, and they get their quarterback of the future in Trey Lance. Justin Fields goes to the Jaguars, number 3. So now we have the Miami Dolphins on the clock. This is the Texans pick that they traded for last year. And I think they take Jamar Chase. They take Jamar Chase and say, let's get to some weapons, right? Okay. So now the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons are thinking quarterback maybe, but there's so many players here. The Falcons might be able to pick a guy up in the second round. They don't need a quarterback right now. They still have Matt Ryan, so they'll have Matt Ryan next year, probably the year after that as well. So quarterback of the future is not a pressing need. They could pick somebody up in the second round, third round. They just need a guy to work underneath him for now. Maybe next year they go out and get their guy. But then again, if the Falcons get better, they might not be in this position again. But for right now, the Falcons really need help on defense. And there's a great edge rusher here in Gregory Rousseau. I think they go edge rusher there instead of picking for the quarterback of the future. All right. The Cowboys sitting here. Man, Cowboys need defense, period. Worst defense in the NFL. They can't stop anybody. You can't stop a nosebleed, as I would say. So, they need cornerback, linebacker. There's a couple good ones here. They really need is a good physical corner. I'm going Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. This kid is going to be climbing up boards. He's already a top 15 pick. I would have liked to go Patrick Surtain here, but I feel like Caleb Farley is a little bit more of a scheme fit in Dallas. I certainly think Patrick Surtain should be and could be the number 1 corner off the board. And what I mean by that is they need a good press corner there. Patrick Surtain, yes, he can play press corner, but he's a better zone guy. He's really good at play recognition, route recognition. All right, football team. Football team's sitting here at number 7. They keep saying quarterback, but I don't know. I don't know if they take a quarterback. I do know they need 2 things. They need wide receiver, and they need some offensive line help. And both are sitting here right now. A quarterback would be a little bit of a reach at this point, kind of. These quarterbacks are climbing up. There's a second tier of 3 quarterbacks that might be moving up. I think by the time the draft actually happens, they will be moving up. So, but right now, Penei Sewell at number 7 is too enticing to pass up. They lost Trent Williams this year. They replaced him with a guy that's 12 years younger. Penei Sewell, now they can go out and get their quarterback of the future, or, maybe they go with Alex Smith 1 more year. I don't know what they're gonna do, but I feel like Penei Sewell is their best choice right now. Best player available. Kind of have to go best player available, especially since one of those top 3 quarterbacks is not available right now. Okay. Chargers. Chargers also need offensive line. Just offensive line in general. They could go corner. There's lots of corners here. I think they go Creed Humphrey. Creed Humphrey can play. He's mostly a center, but he can play guard as well. So he kind of addresses that interior offensive line need immediately. Okay, Patriots. Patriots. I think Patriots go. Where's he at? Patriots go and get their Gronk replacement, Kyle Pitts. Bill Belichick loves to use tight ends, loves versatile tight ends. You can line this guy up outside. He is a red zone threat. He's just a beast. Beast. Okay. So, now the Giants are back on the clock. Still lots of options here. They could go edge. They could go linebacker. There's 2 linebackers here at the top. There's 2 corners here. Man, there's even a tackle here, even though it's a little bit high for Alex Leatherwood. Man, I know the Giants are having pretty good linebacker play, but Dylan Moses plays in a 3-4 in college at Alabama. I'm going him. It's good scheme fit. Good scheme fit. Put him in that middle, possibly next to Blake Martinez. Next year, that could be a really good defense. Really good defense. Okay. We have the Bengals here. Now the Bengals are in an interesting spot. Okay, says edge rusher, cornerback, offensive tackle. Like I just said, it's a little high to take Alex Leatherwood. A little bit. I think he's more of like a 15 to 22 type tackle. As Alabama gets through this season, he may climb a little, but right now, I'm feeling like that's where it's going to be. I don't understand why wide receivers here. This is a great wide receiver core. Honestly, even with AJ Green not doing much, it's still a pretty good wide receiver core. They're playing lights out for Joe Burrow. One thing he really needs is some offensive line help. Corner, there's plenty of corners here, but just before they got on the clock, a certain team made a call. And that team was the Chicago Bears. Okay, so this is the trade I have. I have the Bears moving up from the 18th overall pick to the 11th overall pick. I have the Bengals giving up their 7th overall pick this year. And the Bears are going to give up number 18, number 81 in the 3rd round, and a 6th round pick this year. So the Bears are doubling up, or the Bengals are going to double up on 3rd round picks. They're trading one of their 7th round picks in for a 6th. So I think this is a good trade. Boom. It was accepted. So now we have the Bears sitting here at number 11. Who are they going to take? They are going to take a guy by the name of Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson, quarterback of the future. for the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears just need offensive help in general. But they jump up just ahead of the Panthers, who might be looking for a quarterback, at least a quarterback that they can groom for the future. Teddy Bridgewater is just kind of a placeholder. Even though Teddy Bridgewater is, 27? Yeah, I don't think he's that much of a placeholder. He could be their quarterback of the future. But since the Bears just did that, that kind of forces their hand. They're not exactly looking for that quarterback of the future anymore. Maybe they're going defense like they did all last draft. Let's just keep working on our defense. And they got the perfect guy here in Micah Parsons going to the Panthers. That is your Luke Kuechly replacement. You get a guy in Micah Parsons who's great against the run. He can do pass coverage. He's your new Luke Kuechly. He's not going to replace Luke Kuechly. Don't get me wrong. Don't leave that in the comment section. Oh, there's no way he could ever be Luke Kuechly. Yeah, you're probably right. Luke Kuechly was exceptional. So, but you do get a middle linebacker that can anchor your defense, Micah Parsons, because there is no way Tahir Whitehead is anybody's choice at middle linebacker because dude can't cover for crap. Being a Raiders fan, I know he can't cover anybody. So, moving on to the Lions. The Lions need defensive line. They could also go wide receiver, which I agree with. But I'm gonna give them Devontae Smith. They go with Devontae Smith over Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle just broke his ankle. His stock may fall a little bit. In turn, Devontae Smith is going to get more load, more work there in Alabama. He may benefit from this and jump higher up. So, offensive tackle, cornerback, linebacker for the Denver Broncos. There's Patrick Surtain is sitting right here. He's a perfect corner for the Broncos. And history, if history is any indicator, the Broncos are good at drafting cornerbacks in general, but defensive players in general as well. They're good at it. All right. San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to say Tyson Campbell right off the bat because now Richard Sherman's getting older. That defense is so banged up this year, but Richard Sherman is getting older. Right now he's hurt. He's got a calf injury. You need some infusion of youth on that secondary and that defense in general. Your defensive line is all young players, like 26 and under. Your front seven in general is young. But Richard Sherman is not your long-term answer. Tyson Campbell could come in. He could quickly win the job and be a number one guy for you. And maybe the addition of Tyson Campbell allows you to move on from Richard Sherman. Whatever. Okay. So now, the Dolphins are on the clock again. Earlier on, they drafted Jamar Chase, I believe. Yes, they did. Jamar Chase. First wide receiver off the board. So, what is their next address? I think they bring in somebody like Quincy Roche. He's a Miami guy. Keep him in Miami. Now you have an edge rusher to help get after those quarterbacks in that division. Whoever the Patriots quarterback is in the future, help you get after Josh Allen, help you get after, now you got to worry about Trevor Lawrence because the Jets just drafted him. So you got good young quarterbacks in this division. Get yourself a good young edge rusher to start going after them. Okay. The Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas Raiders. They could They could go. They could go offensive line. They need interior offensive line pretty badly, as well as edge. Um, if they were quite lower here, I would take Aiden Hutchinson, but they're not. And Wyatt Davis is the top 15 pick. I'm going Wyatt Davis right here. It'd be a perfect guard plug-in. They got John Simpson this year. They still have Rodney Hudson, Gabe Jackson. They still have good interior guys. They still have Richie Incognito. He's going to be 38 next year. Rodney Hudson is 31, 32 maybe even. Gabe Jackson is going to be 30 next year. So, if you're going to keep this great offensive line that they have built over the past 4 or 5 years, then they need to start getting some good younger guys just behind these guys to take over the reins when these guys get too old. Richie Incognito may need to be replaced immediately. Wyatt Davis may be the starting left guard next year. If Richie Incognito can't come back from this injury and continue his career. Okay. So things worked out for the Bengals because Alex Leatherwood's sitting here at number 18. Take Alex Leatherwood. You're sitting here at 18. Alex Leatherwood falls in your lap. They drafted Jonah Williams 2 years ago. This year, they got their quarterback of the future. Now, Alex Leatherwood to be your other tackle. Now you're set. Now you can finally keep this guy upright. They do a lot of empty sets there. I've watched their games. They do a lot of 4 and 5 wide receiver sets. It's crazy how many they do. I've never seen a team actually run that many empty sets with no backfield, no running back in the backfield, especially with the pretty good running backs that they have there. So if they want to keep doing that, got to keep Joe Burrow upright. Okay. Eagles. I think, right now the Eagles are atop of that very weak division after beating the Cowboys. I think they go with a guy like Shaun Wade. I think Shaun Wade is going to find himself a lot higher this year. As the Big Ten is just getting going. I think as things progress, Shaun Wade is going to he's going to move up boards. He's definitely going to be in the top 20. This draft is very deep this year. It's going to be first round guys will fall. It's just going to happen. It's just like last year's draft. There was a lot of guys who should have been first rounders who fell into the second round. And yeah, there was a couple of reaches, but this past draft was so weird. Being virtual and people didn't really want to trade because they couldn't see things, and it was a very weird draft. So weird things will happen this year as well. I know it will. Okay. So the Browns, it has defense here, like everything defense, which I actually agree with. Their defense isn't terrible. It just needs depth. It lacks depth. So I think they would go between 3 guys, 4 guys here. Honestly, I think they go Aiden Hutchinson. Olivier Vernon is not getting any younger. Aiden Hutchinson is roughly the same size as Myles Garrett. Look at this. 278 pounds. Myles Garrett's 280, 282, something like that. These are going to be good bookend guys, for the future. 2 first-round picks. I know Myles Garrett was number 1 overall, but, 2 first-round picks at bookends. And, these Michigan guys, they're all dogs. These front 7 guys from Michigan, they're all dogs. They get down and dirty. They got high motors. They just get after the quarterbacks. Okay, so we got the Jaguars on the clock. Jaguars took Justin Fields earlier. They took Justin Fields. So what do they need to do now? I would like to see maybe they get somebody to protect Justin Fields. There is no. I would say they're gonna go with somebody like Pat Fairmouth. They need tight end. They need some weapons now for Justin Fields to throw to. So I say they go out and they get a big tight end who can do it all. He's a do-it-all tight end. He can block. He can catch passes. He's a red zone threat. He can be versatile. He's a possession guy as well as stretch the field. He's well-rounded as a tight end. You know, Kyle Pitts is just an animal. You can line him up outside. He's a good red zone threat. He's not that strong at blocking, but I know that if Belichick gets him, he will be. Either that or he'll just be a guy that he lines up in the slot, lines up on the outside, and just gets mismatches out of him. Okay. Colts on the clock. There's a couple directions they could go here. Jalen Waddle. I feel like this wouldn't be a terrible pick, terrible spot to take Jalen Waddle. That offensive line is good. The defense is pretty good. It says edge here, but there's nobody. There's nobody. You know, Quiddy Pay is probably a fringe second round guy. So let's go get a quarterback. Okay? And I'll tell you who I'm thinking of. It's going to be Kyle Trask. No. Yes. It's going to be Kyle Trask. Kyle Trask to the Colts. Their guy of the future. Okay. Now we have the Cardinals on the clock here. The Cardinals. Man, it seems like Isaiah Simmons hasn't really been working out there either. You haven't found a way to use him. I like either Paulson Adebo or Asante Samuel here. I've said it several times now, but it just keeps happening that the Cardinals are in these spots to take corners, and this time they take Paulson Adebo, and Patrick Peterson can go play free safety. And Isaiah Simmons, maybe they can move him down to linebacker, maybe move him to middle linebacker, stop trying to play him as a safety. He's not even getting much playing time because he's kind of struggling. So maybe put him at more of a true middle linebacker type spot, or maybe even an edge rusher. He's kind of quite undersized for an edge rusher in the NFL, but find a way to get that guy on the field. He's a playmaker. You know, he's a freak of nature too. So, but Paulson Adebo, a more true corner. You can move somebody like Patrick P to free safety. And, you know, you'd have a pretty good secondary. You know, one good young corner could save your secondary here. All right, Ravens. I don't think the Ravens have a ton to lose by taking Jalen Waddle. You know, that gives them another target, and if he's got to recover from an ankle injury still, or whatever, or he's not 100%, whatever, they can take their time with him. You know, no pressure to get him on the field, but super versatile for that offense. I think he's a perfect fit for them. Okay. The Green Bay Packers. Yes, of course. The Green Bay Packers are going to take a guy like Rashad Bateman. I'm doing what the Packers should have done this past year, and I'm taking a wide receiver in the first round, not another quarterback. All right. Interior defensive line. I would go Christian Barmore right here. I mean, he's falling a little bit. He's a little underproductive, but, that's your Jarrell Casey replacement. Boom. Okay. Saints on the board. Saints have Taysom Hill. They have Jameis Winston. They have Drew Brees. Drew Brees is retiring. I truly believe this is his last year. I do not see them. I don't see him making it past this year. So, what I would do is I would move down, or I would move, and I would take Mac Jones. Mac Jones is going to find himself in this first round at some point. I think it's the Saints. He's already down there in Alabama. He's real close to Louisiana. I think they do it. I think Mac Jones is the next guy for Sean Payton's offense. I think he's the next guy. Next man up. Okay. The Bills. We're looking at the Bills here. The Bills, corner, offensive line. I actually like Samuel Cosmi here. Samuel Cosmi right there. Okay. The Bucks. The Bucks don't really need a ton, but they do have some aging players on that offense. You have Tom Brady, who I'm assuming he's going to play one more year. He certainly wants to outlive Drew Brees to totally gain control of that record and maybe even put it out of reach. At least he's hoping. So I don't see him going anywhere. They have a crap ton of running backs, but they're all either 26 to 29, or they're I don't think they're going anywhere with running back. Okay, offensive line. Their offensive line is not that great. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's serviceable. But I do think they could use a guy like Trey Smith. They got Tristan Wirfs this year, but I've seen him. He is struggling at right tackle. But if they bring in another guy like Trey Smith, that will stabilize that offensive line a little bit more. And they'll have some pieces to move around there. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs. I think the Kansas City Chiefs do the same thing. And they just start worrying about protecting their $500 million quarterback, their $500 million quarterback. And they bring in a guy like Josh Myers. The Jets. The Jets are back on the clock. Okay. Well, let's just have a run on offensive linemen here. You got your quarterback of the future, Trevor Lawrence. I want to say Jalen Mayfield, but they have so many more needs as well. Lost Jamal Adams. That defensive line looks really good, though. They do need a true nose tackle, and that's what Tyler Shelvin is. They could even go Jalen Twyman. Bump him out to end because they run a 3-4. They need edge. Edge is just not here. Edge is just not. No. You know what though? They need some playmakers on this defense. And I think there's a guy. There's a couple of guys who are climbing boards, but I will go Rondale Moore here to the Jets. Get the guy a weapon. You know, you can't throw to Crowder every play. You know, Jamison Crowder can't catch every pass. So get him somebody else up there. Rondale Moore. It may even have to go and grab another guy, you know, at the top of the next round, you know, with the first overall second pick. You might need to grab another wide receiver, you know, and just load up. Get this guy some damn weapons, you know. They might even want to go a guy like Travis Etienne or Najee Harris at the top of the second round. Like, they need to do something. And I think the Steelers just reload and get a new nose tackle in Tyler Shelvin. I really love that pick for them. As long as Tyler Shelvin's there in the first round when the Steelers pick, I think they take him. I really do. I think they'll fall in love with this kid. Look at him. 362 pounds. He's just a mammoth of a man. Big dude. Okay, so what did you think, Gridiron fans? Did you love my draft? Did you hate my draft? I'm sure you're going to tell me in the comments. I encourage that. Let's have a discussion. If you like this pick, if you didn't like this pick, put it down. I'm going to upload this video next week. I'm going to do a mock draft with trades. So I'm going to continue that for a little while. And then eventually I'm going to get into, you know, second rounds with trades, third rounds with trades. I'm just going to move right on along all the way up until the draft. Who knows? I may do full 7-round drafts. That's crazy to think about, but I might get into it. All right, so don't forget to subscribe. Click that little bell so you can get future notifications. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And I am the Gridiron Guy, and I will see you next time.